You don't realize how much noise a presence makes until it's gone. That's the first thing they feel, the silence. Not the poetic, peaceful kind you find in nature, but the heavy, suffocating silence of an absence that shouldn't have been there. And when that silence has your shape, your voice, your energy, it starts eating at them in ways they didn't expect. People think they'll be fine without you. They think you're replaceable. They believe the human heart is quick to adapt. But the truth? When you leave, you don't just walk away. You take the gravity with you. You take the air from the room, and they don't feel it all at once. That's the cruelty of it. At first, they tell themselves it's nothing. They fill the space with noise, friends, parties, social media, anything to distract from the sudden echo. But slowly, moments creep in when they're alone, and something inside them whispers, "It's different now, because he's gone." And that's when the unease starts. A Stoic understands this truth, that absence is a more powerful weapon than presence. When you're there, people take you for granted, but when you're gone, every memory becomes sharper. They start replaying the little things, your laugh, your discipline, the way you spoke with conviction. Even the arguments feel like proof of something real, something alive. And here's the part no one tells you. When they realize you're gone, it's not just you they miss. It's the version of themselves they were when you were around. The version you inspired, challenged, or provoked. Now they're left with the weight of their own mediocrity and the quiet question in the back of their mind, did I lose the only person who truly saw me? This is why your absence becomes a storm in their life. It dismantles their illusions. It forces them to confront what they lost, not just in you, but in who they were trying to be, beside you. And once they feel that loss, nothing they do will make the silence stop screaming your name. When the reality sets in, it doesn't hit them like a clean punch. No, it seeps in like cold water through a crack in the wall, slowly, relentlessly, until everything is soaked. At first, they try to act unaffected. They post pictures, share stories, laugh too loudly in public, all to prove they're fine without you. But beneath that performance, there's a flicker of doubt they can't kill. This is where the mind turns against them. Every ordinary day becomes a reminder. A street corner you once walked together, a phrase you used to say, a song playing in the background of a cafe. It's not dramatic like in the movies. It's subtle, like an itch they can't scratch. But the more they try to ignore it, the louder it becomes. A Stoic man knows. People rarely feel your absence all at once. It's in the erosion, the slow wearing away of their comfort. And as time passes, they begin to realize something terrifying. You weren't just another person in their life, you were an anchor. Without you, they're drifting, and they hate that they can't control it. This is the stage where they start to rewrite the past in their head. They remember the good times more than the bad, the way you carried yourself, the calm strength you radiated even in chaos, the moments you listened without judgment, or the times you set boundaries they thought were cold, but now they understand it was discipline. And here's the irony. The same traits that once made them resist you are the exact ones they miss the most. Your silence that they once called distant now feels like wisdom. Your refusal to chase now looks like self-respect. Your independence, which made them think you didn't need them, now makes them wonder if they ever truly mattered to you. This is when they stop seeing you as the man they knew and start seeing you as the man they lost. And that shift is irreversible. Because once someone realizes they've been in the presence of greatness, even if they didn't appreciate it at the time, the absence becomes unbearable. They might never tell you. Pride will keep their mouth shut. But inside, the truth is gnawing at them. The awareness that you were a rare thing, and that they let it slip away. Regret doesn't arrive with a polite knock. It barges in uninvited in the middle of the night when they're staring at the ceiling, replaying memories they swore they'd buried. This is the point where absence transforms into an ache, not the kind you can distract yourself from, but the kind that lives in your bones. They start asking themselves dangerous questions. What if I'd just been more patient? What if I hadn't pushed him away? What if he would have stayed? These questions aren't about you anymore. They're about the life they could have had but destroyed. And the mind, once it starts this game, has no mercy. It digs up every single moment they failed you, every time they doubted you, every insult they hurled when they thought you'd never leave. A Stoic man understands. People rarely regret losing you because of the big things. It's the small moments they remember. The day you gave them advice no one else could. The time you protected them without making a show of it. The way your eyes didn't wander when temptation was right there. These fragments become daggers they can't pull out. This regret phase is also when fear creeps in. Not fear of being alone, but fear of never finding someone like you again. They start noticing the difference between you and the rest. The men they meet now don't have your composure. They lack your self-control. They speak too much, chase too hard, or crumble under pressure. And with every failed comparison, the loss becomes heavier. They might try to reach out subtly, a comment on social media, a "hey, hope you're doing well" message, or even an apology wrapped in casual words. But you'll notice something. The tone has shifted. The arrogance is gone. The teasing confidence they once had with you is replaced by caution. They're testing the waters, trying to see if there's even a trace of the man who once gave them his attention. But here's the truth they can't escape. Your absence has made you more powerful than your presence ever could. They no longer see you as a man they can touch at will. You've become an idea, a standard, and that terrifies them. Because once someone becomes a standard in your mind, every other option feels like a downgrade. And deep down, they know. They downgraded the moment they lost you. The first thing most people do after losing you is try to replace you. They won't admit it, of course. They'll call it moving on, starting fresh, or living their best life. But make no mistake, every new face they entertain is measured against you. Every laugh, every touch, every conversation runs through the quiet filter of, is this as good as it was with him? At first they convince themselves it's better. New is always exciting, but that excitement fades fast, because while they can mimic certain moments, they can't recreate the essence you carried, that unshakable calm, that ability to make them feel safe without saying a word, that masculine presence that filled a room without effort. See, they can find someone with a better body, someone with flashier charm, someone who texts more often, but they can't find you. And that realization is brutal, because now every new relationship is haunted by your ghost. They notice it when a man overreacts to small things you would have handled with ease. They feel it when a conversation lacks the depth you gave effortlessly. They see it when the intimacy feels hollow, rushed, or purely physical without the unspoken connection you provided. This is where the psychological toll kicks in. They start questioning if they even deserve a man like you again. That thought festers. Because now, instead of just missing you, they start to believe they've ruined their chance forever. And nothing is heavier than the weight of permanent loss. A Stoic man understands that trying to replace someone is the mind's desperate attempt to avoid sitting in pain. But pain is a teacher. It forces reflection. It strips away illusions. When they can't find your qualities in anyone else, they're left staring at an uncomfortable truth. What you brought into their life was rare, and they didn't value it when they had it. And here's the cruel twist. The more they try to run from your shadow, the bigger it grows. You become the silent standard every other man has to compete with. Most don't even make it past the first round. That's when they stop searching for a replacement and start wishing for a resurrection. But by then, you've already moved further away, and the man they once thought would always be within reach now lives in a place they can't touch. What they don't realize at first is that your absence isn't just a void for them. It's an opportunity for you. While they're busy cycling through regret, comparisons, and half-hearted replacements, you're evolving, quietly, steadily, without them knowing. A Stoic man understands the rare advantage of distance. It's a forge. Every day apart from them, you become sharper. Your discipline grows, your focus deepens, your energy, once shared with them, is now invested fully in yourself. The man they remember? He's already gone. In his place stands someone stronger, more refined, more dangerous in the best way possible. This is where the real sting begins for them, because absence creates mystery, and mystery fuels imagination. They don't know what you're doing, who you're with, or how much better you've become, but they sense it. They see glimpses in a photo, hear a tone of confidence in you, a voice, or feel it in the way you no longer engage with them at all. And here's the truth that haunts them. They didn't just lose you. They lost the future version of you. The version molded by all the lessons, all the growth, all the victories you've gathered since you walked away. That man, the one you're becoming, will be even harder to reach, harder to keep, and harder to deserve. They start to replay the last moments you shared. Did they leave the wrong impression? Were their words sharper than they intended? Did they push too far, thinking you'd always come back? These questions aren't for closure anymore. They're punishment, self-inflicted, because they know the man they once had will never look back with the same eyes. Meanwhile, you're operating from a place of control. You're not chasing, not proving, not explaining. You've mastered what most men never learn, that walking away with dignity is more powerful than any speech, any argument, any last goodbye. And in doing so, you've become unforgettable, not because you tried to be, but because you refused to stay where you weren't valued. In their mind, you've become larger than life, and the cruelest part, you didn't even have to say a word. The breaking point doesn't arrive with fireworks. It comes quietly, like a door clicking shut in the next room. A sound so small, yet it changes everything. This is the moment they realize. You're not coming back. Not this time. Not ever. Up until now, they've been living on an unspoken hope. Maybe you'll reach out. Maybe you'll forgive. Maybe fate will throw you back together. They've been feeding on maybe like it's oxygen. But then, something happens that rips that oxygen away. It could be seeing you with someone new, the calm, confident way you stand beside her, not seeking attention, just being. Or maybe it's the way you ignore their subtle attempts to connect. Or even worse, the day they realize they don't occupy your mind anymore. A Stoic man knows the greatest power is in the quiet act of moving on, and when they see that in you, it breaks them. Because this isn't the move of a man playing games. This is the move of a man who has closed the book and placed it on the highest shelf, never to be opened again. This is where desperation sets in. They might try a grand gesture, a heartfelt message, an emotional confession, even an apology they swore they'd never give. But what they're really saying is, I can't stand the world without you in it. And when that plea meets your silence, it's like shouting into the void. They finally understand the cost of their choices. They see the finality in your eyes, or worse, in your absence. And here's the twist. Even if you did return, it wouldn't be the same. The man they lost has been replaced by a man they no longer know. That realization is more painful than the loss itself. This is the phase where they stop talking about you to others, not because they've forgotten, but because speaking your name reopens wounds they can't heal. You've gone from being a chapter in their story to being the story they can't tell without breaking. And as they sit in that truth, the silence they once thought they could handle has become deafening. The man they assumed would always orbit their life has left their galaxy entirely. Here's the truth you need to carry with you as a man who values himself. Your absence is not a punishment, it is a boundary, and boundaries are not cruelty, they are clarity. When they realize you're gone for good, they will rewrite history in their head 100 different ways. They'll imagine conversations you never had, outcomes that never happened, second chances that never existed. Not because they want to understand you, but because they want to undo the choice that lost you. But here's the paradox. The more they wish for the past, the further you move into the future. A Stoic understands that time is as always moving forward, and so must you. Their regret, their longing, their sleepless nights, none of that belongs to you anymore. That's their burden to carry, and you must let them carry it. Because what most men don't realize, until it's too late, is that chasing someone who's already walked away erodes your dignity. You've learned the opposite. You've learned that walking away without anger, without revenge, without noise, is the purest form of strength. And that kind of strength lingers in the minds of those who underestimated you. The day will come when they no longer search for you in other people, because they'll have accepted the harsh truth: there is no other you. You were a one-time event in their life, a moment in history that can't be repeated, replaced, or repaired. That realization will stay with them until their last breath. And you'll have built a life so full, so rich in discipline, purpose, and quiet pride, that their memory will no longer have the power to move you. You'll look back, not with bitterness, but with the steady calm of a man who understands. Some losses are not losses at all. They may still dream of you. They may still imagine your voice in the quiet hours of the night. But you will be gone, not just in body, but in spirit. And that is when they'll truly understand. The rarest thing in this world is not love. It's a man who knows when to leave and never looks back.